I did at least.
We are live.
Pink Sock Podcast, your go-to destination for a wild and unpredictable ride through the realms of music, comedy, cannabis culture, and beyond. With your host, the fearless, the irreverent, Mike Usenick, presenting eclectic, entertaining, enlightening, surprising content. Join in the fun, push boundaries, challenge conventions, explore the spectrum of human experience. We won't shy away from any topic. Entertainment, exploration, connection. Join us.
Welcome to another edition of Pink Sock Podcast. We don't really have any conversation
Stop, everybody.
like usual, but we're just going to chill out. We're going to chat, and we're just going to BS. However, we got to confront the elephant in the room. You don't have a title with you.
Yeah. Unfortunately, after a brutal 4 days, 4 matches out in the sun, sunburnt, and unfortunately, I can no longer call myself the MVP Masters champion because a filthy, dirty Canadian cheating bastard decided to kick me in the nads and beat me for what is rightfully mine. So, but no sour grapes. It's the business,
In the condition that you was in after all that 4 days and all that shit, dude, I could have beaten you in a match, and I ain't even a professional.
Like Tyler Grayson, as much crap as I talked about him, beat me pretty badly. But he didn't pin me. He didn't beat me. He beat me up, but he didn't beat me.
Yeah. You can beat somebody up and not beat them in a match. That's the beauty of pro wrestling.
But because of that, the long nights of traveling, the sun being beaten down, setting up rings, walking uphill on top of cerebral palsy, and I did all of this, and it took 4 attempts to take what was mine from me after doing all of that.
What's up, Kyle? Dude,
sorry if I seem a little angry.
You're good, dude. Like, if I lost a belt, I'd be kind of pissed too, especially when I'm not at the height of my trying to find
ability.
The height of my ability. Yes. The height of my abilities. However, like, you'll get it back.
I've already sent in a form to Mon Valley Pro Management wanting my rematch. We'll see what happens. If not, I know that Mom and the rest of the Black Sheep, we can figure something out. We are everywhere. We have lawyers. We have rich. We have poor. We have everybody. So let's see what we can figure out about getting yours truly what is rightfully his. Shall we?
So is the Mon Valley Wrestling Championship, the Masters, is that the main title you all have?
Yes, very top of the heap.
That's what I thought. I wasn't sure if it was like your main title or your, because some companies have multiple main titles. Like,
yes.
In WWE, people hate to admit this, but at one time, the WWF Championship and the Intercontinental title were both the main titles.
A lot of people could say the Intercontinental or IC is viewed more as like, if you're a hardworking guy, the fans really like you, but the company doesn't see money in you, that's the belt they put on you. A lot of guys from Christian, Jericho, a lot of people said that they made their careers more on that belt than they did the actual big prize.
Razor Ramon.
Chico. And that's a guy who should have been champion. That guy should have been world champion by every stretch of the imagination.
I think as Razor Ramon, I think he should have been champion, but I don't know about the world title at that time. I will say Scott Hall, though, in WCW should have at least held the world title once.
I will say this. Actively, currently in Mon Valley Pro Wrestling, we have the MVP Masters Championship, the MVP Monsters Division Championship, which is a title that is, as far as I'm aware of, is only defended in 4-way matches.
That's an
So
interesting concept.
you got to be a real monster to defend and keep that belt because you got more than one opponent every match.
And for
Then
those
we have
not familiar, sorry to interrupt. A 4-way match is you don't have to be pinned to lose. Same with a 3-way.
exactly.
However, some fatal 4-ways, depending on the company, is elimination.
It depends on the stipulation. Because
Yeah.
traditional fatal 4-way is 1 fall to a finish. That's why it's a fatal 4-way. But there are elimination 4-ways or 4-way dances or whatever else wording you want to use for them. So there's many ways you can go about it for sure. And then I don't like to think of any title as the lower belt or whatever, but we do have another championship introduced through our partnership with Scare Pro Wrestling, the Interhunterweight Championship.
Is every single time that belt's defended is in a haunted house?
I know it was started because of haunted house people who were like, "Hey, and
what kind of 4-way we talking about?"
anytime where I get the strap, brother." No.
You know, I understand why some people think wrestling might be a little homoerotic because, like, you have 3-ways, you have 4-ways. You know?
Listen, there is nothing homoerotic about a man in shorty shorts, practically Speedos, covered in baby oil, out in hot, blistering lights and sun, grappling with other good-looking, attractive, physically virile men. There's nothing gay about it whatsoever.
Have you ever said no homo in a wrestling match? Please tell me you have.
No, unfortunately. If anything, people can accuse me of being worse.
You seriously should. Your next match is be like, no homo, as you're in like a headlock.
I have, however, been being checked by the referee and screamed, "I do not give consent."
This is yours. Just say no Diddy.
No Diddy?
have him in a camel clutch and be like, no Diddy. Just start yelling.
No Diddy, no Diddy. Well, I give you the Diddy. And that sounds even worse doing the accent.
I do not give consent. What's up, Sasha? She's cool.
Yeah,
she's gonna get into comedy as well.
Awesome.
But dude, that's fucking funny because I've grown up, and I know this is where I lose some of them.
Really? Because I still act like a 4-year-old.
I've always had an ongoing on and off love for pro wrestling, music, comedy, and just learning. Like I get a lot of hate.
I agree with all of that.
I get a lot.
I'm the same way.
I get a lot of hate for my learning though, because I understand why people are this way because that's how they were raised or what they were raised to believe. But like I posted the picture of me with, the book that I bought recently, but it wasn't me with it. It was just on my dashboard.
I did see that picture. Yes.
And I had people message. Hold on. What more can you ask for? You should learn. I should learn every day. But I had a friend message me recently, and a few actually, not just one. I had a few message me recently, and they're like, "You're evil. You're going out. I'm praying for a bowl." I'm like, not everybody's going to believe in what you believe in, and not everything that is against what you believe in is necessarily evil.
If we keep our minds closed to other opinions and other cultures, then we are doomed to become bigots and hateful people. And that is I'm not okay with that. Like, I know what I am. I'm comfortable in what I am, but that does not mean that I should bash and shame others for trying to find who they are.
Exactly. And the fact is that's who you are. That's what you believe in. I respect that. But like, I never once publicly has said what my actual views are.
Your Usenickism.
I'm starting a religion, Usenickism. But no, like, it's weird that people hold on to these values so heavily that they think the entire world should follow them.
Oh yeah, and it's only getting worse. If you saw, there there was a school that is now like, it's mandatory, I think, in Mississippi or something like that. They're saying that the Ten Commandments must be shown in every classroom. Which, yeah, that'll really solve the gun problem. That'll really keep them safe from people shooting them. Like, there's more bigger problems going on than just, you know what I mean? What people are making a big deal of.
I know people will disagree with this, but hear me out on this. The Satanic Temple announced that due to separation of church and state, legally, they have to put up other religions if they're going to do one. So they announced that they want these schools to put up the Satanic 7 tenets, because legally they either one or none. And they even said, they're like, we're not forcing our beliefs onto you. We're saying if yours is up, ours should be too. The other religions should take steps as well. They're also
any Buddhist, anything like that. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, now that happened in Florida, and the Florida governor is like, that's bogus. You guys aren't even a religion. They're like, by federal law, we are. And he's calling them a joke. And they're like, okay, so they're threatening to go to the federal government and sue the governor of Florida for political discrimination, religion discrimination. And I'm like, okay, you might not agree with it because of the name, but these people don't actually worship the devil. And even if they did, they have the right to do so, and they have the right to have their rights in schools. If you want them, if you want your religion there, all of them should be there. All of them. It's all or none.
See, this is why we need to vote Supreme.
Yeah. Keep religion out of schools.
If you want to teach your child a religious belief, or if they're interested in learning a religious belief, that is perfectly fine.
Exactly.
The school's job should be teaching, and this is where the schools fail too, in my personal belief. They should be teaching aspects of life you need to survive in everyday world. Yes. Not personal beliefs, not our way or their way, or our way or wrong way. No, you should be teaching how to do your taxes, how to pay your bills, how to feed yourself, how to budget your checkbook. A lot of stuff a lot of us don't know because they never bothered to teach us. How fucked up is it that we live in a country that has all these laws, all these loopholes, all these laws, but they never teach you one of them in school? It's like playing a game without knowing the rules.
I agree with you. And I don't like that these groups that are supposed to love everyone or love people and accept people are forcing not only their religion into schools, but they're not even worried about people learning actual life problems or actual life things like you mentioned.
Exactly. Now, again, if you want to be a religious person, if you want to take the time and sit down with your kids, read the book, teach lessons, that is on your personal time, and that is perfectly fine and okay. If the kid wants to read a Bible in school, that is perfectly fine. That is a book. They have every right to read it. No one has the right to look at someone and go, you're wrong, I'm right, and 90 other people think I'm right. That doesn't make you right.
No, because if you think about it, this is another controversial take, but I don't care. The Salem witch trials didn't stop in the fucking 16 or 1700s. There has been fucking witch hunts against atheists. There have been witch hunts against any religion that is not the main religion, including Satan.
Disabled
as well. Because
we've been thrown into mental institutions for having basic health problems. If that's not discrimination, I don't know what is.
Yeah, and also, like people with addiction back in the day used to go in insane asylums.
Oh, and I'm sorry, I'm rubbing my arms because I'm finding blisters from sunburns.
Don't apologize,
and they kind of hurt.
But like, I hate the idea that we put negative names on things that we don't agree with. For instance, like hold on. As someone with disabilities, I agree. It's true. We as a society do not take disabilities seriously. And also, I get it. Some medication does work for some people, but I think we should find a more holistic way, because a lot of people rely on this medication or abuse them because they're highly addictive. Like, we need better options for people that don't want to be stuck on meds their whole life, just wants a more holistic route.
And how come it is that every doctor in the world, anytime a new medicine comes out, is doing really well, they have no problem writing it to everybody until there is a problem, then instead of trying to fix the problem, they just take away the medicine. It's like, no, you started a problem. We need an actual solution, not something that's going to cause more problems, which is just what has happened. You take people got all these perks and these Vikes and all this stuff, and it's strong medicine. And yes, people abuse it because that's what people do because we are stupid.
Yep.
Anything that can be abused will be abused by people. That is a fact. So they should have known that from day freaking one and had some way to regulate or understand that, hey, this is, you know what I mean? Instead, they were handing it out like candy. And then once it became a problem, people started dying. You now taking it away and you've caused a whole new problem. Now people are robbing, stealing, and to get their fix.
Another issue that we face in society, to add to what you said, is we as a society, not we personally, but a majority of society blames the addict instead of looking at the story, because an addict,
I'm on mic. I got to open.
You're good.
I'm still listening.
An addict could either be born that way because their parents were an addict while they were in the womb, or they're an addict due to society. They had a broken leg or whatever. They gave them pain pills and they became addicted to the pills. Once they take the pills away, they go to street opiates. Like, not every addiction is the addict's fault. They didn't go say, hey, I'm going to pick this up and start doing this. It is the fucking medical field to blame.
It's the same thing, like I said, with the rules. People going to jail over laws they didn't know were laws or didn't know rules on how, like, how many times have you heard of someone taking a plea deal when they realized, oh, I could have gotten a better deal if I would have just fought, because they don't know.
And also, Sasha is a addict, and a lot of it, I'm not here to talk for her because she has her own voice, but I'm going to say a vast majority of people, and I'm not saying she's this way, I'm just saying a vast majority of people aren't addicts due to wanting to be or whatever. They're an addict due to that's what society made them because of the way our medical field is.
Not only that, I've learned, like, because I watch, there's a guy on YouTube named JD. He does a lot of, he's done time, like hard time, and he basically preaches against a lot of the bullshit of this world now. And one of the things he mentions is the majority of people who end up in prisons is because of trauma, because shit keeps happening and no one wants to go, hey.
That's what she said right there. She said, being broken on the inside and trauma causes drug addiction too.
And the fucked up thing is none of us get out of this life without some trauma. The whole idea is to learn from it. But the problem is some shit is so heavy without proper people there to lift you up. It's very easy to fall.
Well, I want to make an announcement right now on Pink Sock Podcast. Now, this might cause some people to not like us. This may cause some people to turn their head, but I don't give a fuck. As long as you are not harming anyone else, as long as you are consenting adults, as long as you can believe, you can be a Satanist, you can be a Luciferian, you can be a Catholic, Catholics hurt kids, but anyway, you can be a Catholic, you can be whatever you want to be, and you are more than welcome and accepted by the Pink Sock Podcast. We don't give a fuck what you are. You can worship the goddamn devil, as long as you're not hurting anyone.
Damn right.
Because if you actually listen to these people with an unjudgmental eye, they just have their own opinion of what they was told. They have their own view of that particular thing. You're allowed. It's okay. It should start being, we need to kill the stigma of saying, hey, you believe differently than me. Unless it's believing differently politically where it starts controlling other people's lives. That's where I start having a problem.
Yeah, for real. Like, I agree completely. It's like we need to, this world would be so much better if instead of immediately pointing a gun at something we don't understand, we take a minute and go, oh, let's try to learn from each other instead of just going, you have something I want, bam, take it.
You know, I am very guilty, and I hate to keep going into this, but like, it's something that is a big
problem
today. But there was a guy that I knew many years ago, and I had a friend who was a Levian Satanist, which is pretty much, they are atheist, but they worship themselves. It's like self-worship. But I had this guy that I knew who actually worshiped the devil, blah, blah, blah. And due to all the stigma that I was told, I thought this dude was fucking evil. He killed cats, whatever, because he was different. Well, I decided to be different and people did not like me for this for a while. I walked up to him and I sat down with him. I'm like, dude, I understand a lot of people don't like you. You don't have a lot of friends. I at least want to understand where you're coming from and agree with what he says or not. And I'm not even going to tell his side, but this dude turned out to be one of the nicest people I've ever met. And he just had a different view on what that text said.
I completely understand. Like when I was in high school, my friend group, now mind you, I'm a twin. I have a twin brother. So we're the twins. I'm the disabled kid. And one of them's a lesbian, midget. Well, she was like 4'0". She never got any taller. So we all just poked fun at her.
Hey, we can only say the word midget if you lost your virginity at 19 years old to one.
So there, like, if you were like odd and didn't quite fit in, you fit in with us. That's how my group was. So it's like I grew up around people with different ideals, and again, I got freaking mistreated because I would bring a Bible to school and read it because I'm Christian. I believe in Jesus. Blah blah blah. Which yeah, I know, right, guys? I'm on a podcast with someone who reads the Satanic Bible, and I don't want him dead.
Hey, I don't. I'm going to say this right now. I'm not saying I practice it or I don't because I like people to not know. However, that's not the only book that I read that's religious. That's the only one that people pay attention to.
Right, because it's the one that causes the stir. So I'm bringing this. I'm also dyslexic, so I have trouble reading. I was doing this as a practice, see if I could start helping my reading ability, and it was a book I was interested in reading. So I'd be sitting there reading the book to myself, and people would ask me questions, and then I got accused of freaking preaching in school. And people were like, we don't want nothing to do with you because you're telling us we're going to help by carrying a book around. I'm like, I'm reading a book. People are asking me questions. I'm answering questions. I'm not telling people what to fucking believe.
Can I say something? I know this is controversial to a lot of religious groups, but this is just my opinion. At the end of the day, every religion stems from mythology. Every single religion stems from what is actually, that is the legit technical term. It's not offensive. It's just called mythology. And can we all agree that our belief might not be right or whatever? Like you can believe what you want to believe, but to other people, that's not their reality. We need to understand that our reality is our reality. It's not everyone else's reality.
Now, my belief is the stories in the Bible, whatever, true, false, whatever the point is you're supposed to take lessons away from other people's struggles and learning from them. So whether it's a Bible, whether it's Little House on the Prairie, whether it's the Satanic Bible, no matter what you're reading, no matter what you're doing, yo, what's up? Hey, Brawl Energy in the house, my homies.
What up?
Yes, welcome.
Oh, Sasha said she was a loser to the losers. And what my goal was to add to what you're saying, not to interrupt, I'm sorry, but to add to what you were saying is like, I did similar. I was a popular kid in school, but I wasn't the guy that people would hang out with all the time because they knew I hung out with people that they didn't like. And I didn't give a fuck that they didn't like them.
Mm-hmm.
I'm an ally for those that society has forgotten. That's why I keep posting about the Satanic Temple and all these groups, because they're the ones that society hates right now.
Which is why the Pink Sock Podcast is a branch of the Black Sheep Society. Sorry, folks. I say that because we've all been dealt the cards and told, here's your cards, live with it. Well, now we're setting the deck.
Yes.
For the Black Sheep Society, we are everywhere. Boom.
But I was a loser in school by a sense of, and I don't know what your school was like. Like you can get into that too.
Horrible. Horrible. But my school was fucking horrible.
I was severely bullied in school, and that's trauma that I don't really want to get into publicly. I'm very open about it. I just don't.
I'll talk about mine.
Okay, fuck it. Let's go there. All
right.
When I was
shoot, brother.
I'm sorry. You go ahead. You're on the show.
You sure?
Go ahead.
You want me to go first?
Go ahead.
All right. So there's a little word you want to make me mad? Use, and again, I'm going to say the word as much as I hate. Use the word retarded around me. See how mad I get. You know why? Because that word has been used to dehumanize me. I've been called fag for hanging out with my brother. Okay, I've been called names. I've been called uh, everything under the sun. Basically, anything that could be dehumanizing about me because of my health conditions, they've said it. They've called me lazy. They've called me a bum. They said I'm a cripple. They said you name it. And I've almost gotten into fights with people because they thought they could push me. And I tried to keep my nose clean for the majority when I was in school, but it doesn't mean I forget what these people did to me.
See, bullies are fucking horrible, dude. I had
I
similar.
feel bad for them because more often they're bullying because their life shit.
True, and I actually learned that at a young age because when I was in middle school, 7th grade, I went from like I wasn't really totally accepted, but I had friends. Ever dated a bully? Let's talk about dating really quick before I talk about bullying.
Ooh, spicy.
I never had a girlfriend all throughout middle school, high school, no school. I never had a date to prom. I never had a date to homecoming. I never had a date to any of that. I take that back. I did have a date to my senior prom, which was my gay best friend. As a
Yeah, you
straight
told me that.
male, yeah, as a straight male, I took my gay best friend because he wanted to go to prom, and I'm like, what harm is it? Found out what harm it was. The school board tried fighting me on it, and I ended up winning
Fuck
because
them.
I'm like,
Fuck
I
them.
ain't gay, my boyfriend is. But we ended up we ended up going to prom together. But I never had a female that I knew of interested in me because my
Yep.
entire life has been spent where I was really nervous around girls up until I was like
Okay.
up until I was 18 or 19. And girls never made the first move.
I
Uh,
still fucking don't. What are you
and
talking
if
about?
they and if they did, I thought they were joking because
Yeah.
I've been asked out as a joke a lot in my life and even my adult life.
Same.
But so no, I never dated a bully. However, as an adult, I guess you'd consider them bullies if they're narcissists, right?
If
Um,
they're up their own ass and they think they're more important than everybody, I would think so. Yes.
but back on the bullying topic, it's a very touchy subject for me because
It's okay. I'll get deep on this one because something did happen within the last year that kind of puts everything into perspective for me. If you don't mind me talking about it.
go ahead. It
Um.
gives me more time to not talk about my shit. So go ahead.
So there was a guy I went to school with, bullied me horribly, cheated, was dating a friend of mine. What's up? What's up? People saying hi. Um, Dated a friend of mine, cheated on her, treated me like crap, talked crap about me, talked crap about everybody. Uh, Almost got one of my older brother because after high school he was hanging out with my older brothers. Got him in a bunch of trouble that he should just because he was trying to save this guy's ass, and he ended up getting burned for it. So this dude did all this horrible shit to me, treated me like shit for years. And then one day I get on Facebook, and there's his obituary, and he's 2 years older than me, and he's got a daughter. And my first thought was not good for, great, happy to see that. No, my first thought was so much potential to do good wasted.
Exactly. Like I kind of feel
And
bad for my bullies too, in a way, because I guess insecurity bleeds out in that field, but like we're gonna get into this, so fuck it. Let's see how this works.
I'm here to help, brother. Therapy time. Ding, ding.
This is a trauma that I've kind of let go, but it still follows me through occasional situations. Because as I said, I was asked out on dates as a joke. I've been cheated on a lot. Even when I have a girl interested in me, they go off and date somebody else, which is fine. The universe is what it is. You like who you like. So that's kind of why I chose to just stay single and enjoy and have fun. Because there's no sense in getting your hopes up, whatever. But let's go back to when this all got fucked up. 7th grade. Let's go back to 7th grade. I was in, I want to say, reading class, literature, I think is what they called it. I'm not sure. However, I remember it was a nice day. It was, I think, spring is when it was. It wasn't like spring break time, but it was like, I don't know when exactly it was, but it was nice out. I remember that much. And we was in class, and a kid passed gas. He farted, but he jokingly blamed it on my body odor, which led to a downward spiral of the entire school bullying me for a year and a half, the better part of a year and a half. And it bled out into my summer vacations. I really had no friends. It got to the point where I got punished for it. I got punished for me being bullied. Uh, the school, instead of doing something about it, forced me into therapy because they thought that would fix it. That would fix them bullying me. But it continued. But
Mhm.
when it stopped was, and this is why comedy cures my trauma, because I started watching a lot of George Carlin. I started watching a lot of Jim Carrey to cure that empty hole in my heart. Because not only did I not have anyone interested in me, but I had the entire goddamn school bullying me. Not one person stood up for me. Not one. Which is a harsh memory to remember. And I got to the point where I said, you know what? Like, I'm tired of feeling like shit. I'm tired of being beaten down. I'm tired of this. If they want to feel that way about me and they want to say that shit, let them. Don't let it hurt you anymore. So they would say something harsh about me, and I'd say something funny and harsh back about myself.
Yep.
And then one kid came to my house, and I'm not like this anymore. I'm not a violent person, but I'd snapped. And this kid and his friends came to my house, was like, we're going to kick your ass. I'm like, oh, you brought your friends, right? And they're like, yeah. I'm like, okay. Now, mind you, I was a wrestling fan. I watched a lot of comedy too. So, like, I was trying to heal this trauma, but I still had that care. I wanted to be accepted.
Yeah.
So I went into my house. I'm like, you brought your friends, I'll bring mine. And they're like, what are you doing? I come out with a baseball bat and a sledgehammer.
Good friends to have.
And the kid's like, what are you going to do? And I threw the fucking baseball bat at his head, and he fucking ducked, and I picked up the sledgehammer, and they scattered. Was I going to use it? No, I'm not a fucking idiot, even at that age. But I scared them.
Right. I did a very similar thing when I was in school. People would start messing with me. I'd turn around and headbutt a locker as hard as I could, and then I'd look right at them and go ahead, your turn.
I did the same. I would act completely batshit crazy because at that time there was a wrestler by the name of Mick Foley,
Bang,
and
bang.
I'm like, I'm just gonna do what Mick Foley does. So I started tearing my own hair out, punching myself in the head. They didn't fuck with me, but they still bullied me. That didn't fix the bullying problem.
It just meant they didn't do it to your face as much.
They did.
Or they didn't. Oh, well, what I mean is they weren't picking fights, but there's a difference between bullying and trying to beat someone up or whatever, I guess.
They weren't throwing shit anymore. But my breaking point really never stopped. Just the bullying stopped. The two main bullies went to different schools, and then people tried patching things up. But like, you let it happen.
Yeah. It's
You
funny how
follow-
high school, once you get out of that environment, you figure out how much more chill people are about life because we all got our own fucking problems.
Yeah, and like, I don't like holding on to old grudges. Like, I see my old bullies
Me neither.
out in public and shit, and they've not apologized to my face, but they apologized to my mom in public, which is weird. But like, I don't like holding on to that. However, it's still trauma that I cannot allow them in my life, even though it's like we were kids then, but whatever. It still hurts that I went through that. Now,
Trauma is trauma, you know what I mean? So it's like whether it's from fighting in wars or just dealing with everyday life, we all have trauma to deal with.
yeah, and I understand people like sometimes they don't mean to hurt other people. Like I had this instance, that I remember, and this girl is not really in my life anymore, but like she never apologized or nothing for it either, which is kind of weird. But me and her was like kind of like we weren't dating, but we was talking online, like sharing pictures. All that. This was after high school, like we were adults, but like we were sending pictures and shit. And she's like, "Yeah, I'll go on a date with you." I'm like, "Cool." And then she like didn't reply to messages for about a week. I'm like, "Whatever." I'm like, "So we still on for Thursday?" Well, I went to the place we were supposed to meet at. She wasn't there. Whatever. Found out she ditched me for somebody else. and ended up getting pregnant. And I'm like, you know,
Fucking people, man.
I don't care if you don't want me in a romantic way. Even at that
Yeah.
time. Now, I just don't want anything serious. Like, I just don't have any expectations. But like back then, I didn't care. And even now, I don't care if you don't want anything serious with me. I don't care if you just want to fuck. I don't care if you just want to be fuck buddies. I don't care if you just want to be friends. I don't care if we view each other differently.
No offense. I'm not gonna fuck you, bro. I'm not gonna fuck you.
You can if you want. You can. Just don't tell nobody.
Oh,
It'll be
only
weird.
on Tuesdays. Oh shit! When do we air these?
It's on right now, but we're going live tomorrow, so you got to be here.
Yeah.
But no, like, I don't care. I hate how society is like, oh, you want to fuck me and we're friends. Well, that means you're going to force it, so we can't be friends. Fuck that. No. But the thing is if you don't, my point is, if you don't view me that way, or you aren't interested,
Don't play.
and you find somebody else, just let me know.
Open honesty, and don't play. Like, it's not that hard. It really isn't.
I was almost kicked out of school for punching a bully. My dad prevented that because my dad told him, he keeps getting bullied. You guys ain't doing nothing. He hit somebody in the face. It's their fault. Well, this kid sprayed me with deodorant and I punched him right in the fucking nose.
Mm-hmm.
He tried suspending me. Now, what put me in therapy, they forced me into therapy, and I think it's my own fault because we had a little event in our school that was like the remembrance of Columbine or whatever. And it was the day of that. And I walked into the office and I find it kind of odd that you guys are remembering Columbine. I'm like, why? You guys ain't doing nothing about a possible Columbine happening in this school.
Yeah.
And they took it, I didn't mean it that way, but they took it as a threat.
No, it's the whole reason it happened was because bullying led to that happening. It's like there's steps to everything, man. There's a step one, and usually that step one is people are messing with people that they shouldn't be messing with.
Yeah, like, and I'm not agreeing with any, like, violence is never the key, but like, we have anti-bullying shit, but we don't do anything as a society to prevent it or to teach kids how to handle bullies in a psychology level.
That's another thing that the schools, I feel like we mentioned, teaching people how to deal with just the bullshit of life, the stress of life, like what you properly need to take care of yourself, both mentally and physically. We don't teach that stuff.
And what sucks is the school that I went to hasn't changed. I have a nephew who's severely bullied. They don't do nothing. They don't even try. Because here's why. Usually it's an athlete they don't want to get in trouble, or it's a child of a parent that is part of the school board.
Right. And they make excuses, and they say, well, try this, we'll do that. I'll never forget the time. You'll find this story hilarious.
Go ahead.
I was in middle school, and I was in modified classes. You think that being that I was in a class with a bunch of people with other learning disabilities, there wouldn't be much bullying, but you'd be wrong. And one day, these two guys are just messing with me, right? They're really messing with me. And I told the teacher, like, hey, these guys are messing with me several times. It's like, ignore them, just worry about yourself. So I'm trying, but I can still see them out of the corner of my eyes making comments and, you know what I mean, snickering, whatever. And then I see one of them point at me and go like this. I stood up, screamed in this guy's face, you going to say something about me? Say it to my fucking face, you motherfucker. Say it. He's like, I didn't say nothing. I was like, bullshit. I watched you. I just saw you fucking do that. And I almost hit him. Instead of hitting him, I turned around, grabbed his desk, and threw it up in the air as hard as I could. Like, it flipped, everything. Boom. They had the teacher and other people walked me out of the room, put me in a different classroom, and I'm breaking down. I'm in a bad way because I think that I just got myself suspended for destroying school property or something. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Next day, we go into the truancy officers with the principal, and they're trying to say I was doing this, and it's like I wasn't doing any of that shit. I was trying to do my work and focus, and these people, and they would not leave me alone all day. And they weren't taking responsibility, blah, blah, blah. And then the truancy officer just stopped and goes, wait, points at the first bully, points at me, goes, did he do anything that prevented you from learning yesterday? He goes, no. Other bully, did he do anything to prevent you from learning yesterday? No. pointing to me, did they prevent you from learning yesterday? I said, yes. He's like, then you are free to go. You didn't do anything wrong. If anything, you were doing what you could to avoid hitting them.
Yeah.
You can go. I don't know what their punishment was after that. I just know that I was off scot-free.
Damn, dude. Well, I think what the final point was that prevented my bullies wasn't similar to your story, but this bully walked up to me one day and is like, said really loud. I think he wanted everybody to hear, but he didn't expect my reply because it made him look like shit. He came up to me and he's like, I'm going to kick your ass. And I yelled louder than him, well, I'm going to fucking eat yours. And I dropped to my knees and went, la, 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 la. And he was like,
what the fuck?
For a while, I was known as Mike the Weird Ass Eater, but like that's a compliment now. Like everybody's into it now. Like what the fuck?
I was just about to say, there's worse things to be called.
But back then, nobody ate ass.
Weirdly enough, it still happens today. You get people who just like can't leave. There was a guy on Facebook. Don't know the man from nothing, but I know he must know about me because I was talking about wrestling, whatever, and he put on my shit. You're good at nothing but flopping around like a dead fish, and posted videos of people having seizures underneath. Okay? I took that personally. You know something personal about me because you know I have health problems, or you wouldn't have said that. So I posted to my people, my friends and family on Facebook, make sure you send this man all my love. Look at what he said. Because I ain't going to hide it. But I'm not going to tell you, you know what I mean? What you guys do is not my business.
Yeah.
But apparently, the guy was so obsessed with me. Mon Valley Pro was doing a stream on Kick, and the guy created a Kick account, got in there, started talking shit about me on there.
And he loves you, dude.
Right? And then like 2 weeks later, I win the Masters title. So.
My question is why? That's a form of love, ain't it? If people like do that shit, like that's how
form of obsession.
To me, that's your biggest fan.
I own more space in his head than he owns in mine. That's for damn sure.
Like I don't know. I have people that like come to me sometimes and they're like, "Hey, I'm sorry I did this," or "Hey, this, that, and the other." And sometimes
had that done too.
I'm like, I don't even remember what happened. Like,
I had the same thing happen to me.
I don't hold on to shit though. Like I appreciate apologies and shit, but like if it's been years, like sometimes I forget and then I'll remember and I'm like, oh yeah, that was shitty. But also I did this that was shitty. Like I'll also throw in how I was a piece of shit. Like
last person who apologized to me for what they did in high school, they said, "Are you mad at me?" I go, "For what?" Because this is someone I hadn't talked to in years, right? Years. And he goes, "Because I bullied you in high school and stuff." I go, "Dude, I am 30 years old with 2 kids, a family, a life I'm trying to get on track. I don't have time to worry about people from fucking high school." You know?
If somebody ever does that again, you know what your reply should be? Dude, I don't even know you.
That would have been a good one. Oh god.
I used to bully you in school. Well, you didn't do a good enough job because
I guess.
I don't know. I'm an asshole though in that sense because like I don't know. I feel bad sometimes because I do offend a lot of people, but like I don't mean it in a bullying kind of way. But
my brother doesn't think I'm funny at all, and it annoys him whenever he starts laughing. So. I get it.
It's like, who are you, dude? Like, just say that to somebody. They're like, who are you? Like, what the fuck? You're worried about me. By the way, I do have a show coming up Saturday. If you guys are interested, I'm going to be doing OVDJ Summer Bash. I'm going to be performing, doing stand-up comedy. I don't know how much time I got, though. I think like 20.
You better go check. No, that way. You better go check that man out.
I need to write.
Make you laugh.
Because I feel bad sometimes because like I do reuse material, which comedians are supposed to. We're like, you don't see a band and you're like, oh, they're fucking playing the same shit. Like,
I think Steve-O did a bit where he talked about how he did his first set and he went, "Okay, I did it," and immediately threw away the whole thing because he's like, "I already did that." It's like, no. much like a band trying to get a song out there, sometimes you got to repeat yourself a little bit.
Yeah, but like the reason why I feel weird about repeating myself is because it's usually me performing in front of some of the same people.
True. Even I'm having the same issue with what's coming up on the 24th. I'm trying to make sure I don't get too repetitive.
But sometimes you got to be repetitive, man. Like you got to know the room. Like I'm adding some stuff into my set, some stuff that I'm not sure if I should add to my set because I might not be the right room. But at the end of the day, if you look at some of the best comics in history, they said whatever they wanted to regardless of the room. Like George Carlin.
Sorry, I'm napping myself. I'm tight.
You're good, dude. I thought you were just having a seizure. I didn't know what was going on.
Oh, no.
What the fuck?
What a podcast to remember. D.A. Morris dies in the middle of the podcast.
Oh, shit. He's flopping around like a fish. No, I'm just kidding. Just kidding.
You're lucky we're friends.
See, that's the thing people don't realize, though, is there's a difference between jokingly and playfully roasting and bullying.
Mm-hmm. Like most of the people I know in wrestling can say horrible, horrible shit about me. And I'll look right at them and go, yeah, and?
I love this. This is why you're the master. I don't view myself getting my leather whips and my chains because I'm the master. No, the thing is, though, is like people
don't knock until you tried it.
I love bondage. Can we talk about that? Bondage?
Yeah, why the fuck not?
I fucking love bondage, dude. Like, I'm not a vanilla guy. Like, have you done the rope shit where you tie people up?
I don't get bonded, but I won't lie. I will. There have been some hand ties and some blindfolds.
See, I've done hand ties. I've done blindfolds. I've done handcuffs. I've done CNC. I've done all kinds of.
I've done handcuffs.
I've never done the ropes. I was a Boy Scout, but I don't remember half the shit I learned because that was years ago. But
I'll tell you something a promoter told me one time. And this was probably the funniest fucking rib he said he's ever pulled on a lady. Some real skanky bitch hanging out at shows, whatever. Promoter convinced her to come back to the hotel room, ties her up, leaves her there.
That's mean. That's like
you're laughing.
That's like I heard this comedian say, he's like, this woman told me to tie her up and do whatever I want. So I tied her up and took her TV.
I know the Key and Peele's got a real funny one where the girl's like, just name it and it's yours. Anything you want your fancy. He goes, really? And she's like, yeah. Well, how about you call your friend Jessica? And oh shit.
I've never done the three-way. I've come close.
I've never ridden the tricycle myself either.
I would love to, but I've never done it. The closest I've come to disappointing two people at one time was at Thanksgiving with my parents. Like I was sitting at the dinner table.
I was just about to say, disappointing your parents, you've easily disappointed more than one person.
Every time they see me perform live, I'm disappointing them. No, funny story. You missed this show when I did my first comedy show. Now this joke is out of my set, so I can tell it. My mom got a colonoscopy. Yes, I talked about her colonoscopy on stage in front of 200 people. Now I'm doing it on a podcast. But she got a colonoscopy. Now, everything turned out fine. But her doctor was Dr. Schatz. That joke wrote its fucking self.
Oh, dear Jesus. Oh, my God.
Not just that. I looked him up. Now, I'm not saying he's a bad doctor. He might be amazing, but I'm just saying what the review said that I saw. The review said he's an asshole. How amazing that your doctor, who is Dr. Schatz, is an asshole. Because,
right?
I mean, he knows what he's doing because he is one. Like, to add to the story, to disappoint my other parent, my dad recently got a colonoscopy. And he had the same doctor.
Now, is it appropriate for them to light candles before they do that? I'm just asking for a friend.
See, Kate Savage has an amazing point, and I love you, Kate. Thank you for joining. Could you have done any other profession as Dr. Schatz?
Wrestling, because then you shat the bed all the time.
You could have been Johnny Depp's love interest.
Let's see. You could be an underwear tester to see if there's any stains in your underwear after it's done.
You imagine the man who invents underwear with his last name Schatz? Come get Schatz underwear. It's stain proof.
No, those are adult diapers.
No, stain proof underwear by Dr. Schatz.
Boom. It's a degree in shitting.
Your skid marks are gone. Why is it that, like, I know comedians have talked about this, but why is it that, like, men, we can just put our underwear on for the first time, take them off, we had skid marks. Women, they can go days wearing underwear and not have nothing. Them ladies don't shit.
Like, I could freaking power wash myself and there would still be something.
I take very good care of myself down there.
I try to.
Because, like, I wouldn't expect a woman to go down there if I didn't. But, like, sometimes men go to the bathroom and we end up looking like Bob Marley back there, if you know what I mean. It looks like a magical dingle forest. You go in there and you pick you a fresh one. You plop it in your mouth like a gusher and start chewing.
Okay, line. There's a line. I would say that's my line right there. And you just crossed.
You can't flush moist towelettes, though.
Yeah, that's true. You can't. You're not supposed to. It'll fuck up your system.
Even the flush ones are unflushable. Like, you should.
My dog eats them. So she's got to clean his asshole in the house.
Nikki's like, you went over the line. The thing is, even when I go over the line, y'all motherfuckers are laughing. So is it really over the line?
Well, it depends. Where's your line compared to my line?
I love how you
say. Because if we cross lines, does that make us lovers?
No, that just makes us really good friends. Or related.
No. That's when you take the tips of your lines and put them together. That's what makes you really. I can't say that with a straight face. I'm sorry.
Put it in garbage bags with a closed lid. I don't know. Have you ever had one of them farts that make you wonder what you ate?
Sometimes. You've also have to question, I have had nights where it's like I'm laying in bed trying to sleep, and next thing you know, gotta go change myself because I gambled.
So I don't know if I should put this in my set or not. So those who are listening, I apologize if I do, but this is a story I really want to tell because I think you're going to be intrigued by this. This is a real story. Should I talk about the last time I went to church?
Absolutely.
It was Christmas 2019. My mother told me that it was not church. It was just a concert. So naturally, at the time, I was still taking dab vapes. So I decided I'm going to get high and I'm going to listen to some really good music in a church setting. Because I'm not much of a Christmas guy, but I want to enjoy this situation.
I love Christmas. I love it.
Oh, I enjoy it, but I'm more of a Yule. Like I call it Yule because
celebration.
Yeah,
full on celebration of life.
Yeah,
it's the end of the year. Let's enjoy that we made it this far.
Yeah, I just don't like the religious aspect of it. But I'm it's cool. It's a concert in a church. I go there. It's church. I'm high. I'm high in church.
Have you heard that song?
Yes, by Trevor Moore of Whitest Kids You Know. It is amazing.
It's one of my favorite. And I believe he's passed. May he rest in peace. And
I got a really good Trevor Moore story too, bro.
But that song, oh my gosh, every time I think about church, I'm like, I want to freaking get ripped and just go and listen to stories.
I did. Now, here's what happened. We get about 3 Christmas songs in. The 4th one hits, and this dude, he's playing them on his guitar, and we're just singing along with it. And he's like, this next song is Silent Night. He's like, I don't know why, but they have the German version below it. But we're not going to sing that. We're just going to sing Silent Night. For some reason, high as hell Mike decided to turn into Rammstein. And I'm in church, the only guy going, Silent Nacht, Schleinsteningsnacht.
And to anybody out there who speaks German, why is that language so mad?
was funny because my mom kept fucking elbowing me to stop it. And I'm like sitting like singing in fucking full blown German, dude. I sounded like Rammstein in that bitch.
I will say you got to be careful with them dab rigs, man. Like they fuck you up.
Kate, everyone thought I was into it, but I just wanted the communion stuff.
I was told there was a fat man who was going to bring me presents if I showed up here today. Could someone please?
See, if that religion is true, I'm pretty sure Jesus laughed too. He hung out with whores and lepers and shit. Like I'm sure that dude had a sense of humor.
Absolutely.
Like
that's the thing about, like, again, not to get all religious on my beliefs or whatever, because again, teach their own. But if Jesus was supposed to be God incarnate and have the human experience, then he has to have a sense of humor.
There was this interesting video I saw, and I'm not going to go into the blasphemy because, like, even if this is true, I just don't want people to come at me with a hateful mind because they don't have an open mindset. But
hold on, let me go get my pitchfork.
No, don't do that. A friend of mine who is, as I mentioned, a Luciferian, which means they worship Lucifer, whatever. He believed that he was the good guy. Lucifer was. That is their belief. I'm not saying it's mine, but that was their belief. And he said, here's why. And he said, because in the Bible, it actually mentions Jesus is the morning star and the light. So is Lucifer. They believe that they're the same person.
Shit. Sorry, dropped my headphone.
That is their belief.
I can say it.
They believe that Jesus and Lucifer is the same person because Jesus is the God of earth, whereas God is the God of the universe. Basically, Jesus preached, enjoy life while you're here, and we love you. Well, God said, don't do all that.
I've always looked at like like everybody's like compare the Old Testament, like God that He's very. I've always seen it as more of and I'm taking this as from an aspect of a father. You have to punish your kids sometimes when they act up. You don't want to. You feel bad about having to do it, but you have to have that stern hand sometimes. And I feel like there was more of that going on than people think. Than oh well, he was just like clearly what kind. It's like no, you don't understand. We have free will to choose our own ways. You know, sometimes you just got to be hands off, and I feel like we're at a period where things just need to be hands off, and we need to try to figure shit out.
And my thought is, though, on the whole thing, is the way I view it, and I read all kinds of shit. Like I do. I educate myself on everyone's belief. I respect them. But if I respect yours and I allow you to talk about them, I ask for the same respect. That's all. That's all.
By all means.
But like my thought is let's just view it as you might believe it, but I view it as a form of entertainment. It's fun to read and speculate. It's kind of like watching Star Wars or Star Trek for me. Like, oh, what if this? What if that? And people are like, oh, that can't be. Why can't it be? Everyone interprets it differently.
And by the way, I can't be one of those shunned people because there are too many pretty hot goth girls out there for me to go, well, it's like, if that's what, I would rather the whole world look like that than deal with some of the shit we deal with.
Why do you think I bought the Satanic Bible?
It's a nice conversation. Dude, I had a moment at this festival I was at where I was just talking to a girl. I was promoting the show. Mm-hmm. Okay. First thing I said to her was like, I asked her which tattoo hurt the worst because she's covered and I'm covered. Yeah. So nice icebreaker. Girl walks away, chilled, the cucumber guy I'm with leans over, goes, you trying to hit? I was like, I'm married, you jackass.
Well, what's crazy?
Like, just because you're trying, like, open, like we've been talking about this whole time, open conversation with people, learn their stories, let them learn your stories. It doesn't have to have an agenda behind it.
Well, what I hate is I own, and I really do, and I own a bunch of stuff like this. I own I don't know if you're familiar with the terminologies of different like religious symbols or whatever, but each symbol has its own hidden meaning that has nothing to do with even religion. It just has a meaning. Mm-hmm. So there is an inverted pentacle with the Baphomet in it. Now, Baphomet actually has a really good meaning, but a lot of people deem it evil.
Baphomet isn't even Satan, which everybody thinks it is, but it's not.
Baphomet was designed because it is half animal, half human, which is us. We are animals at the end of the day. As above, so below means that what you believe here happens in the afterworld, or as you are now is as you were. It just depends on how you interpret it. But the pentagram or the pentacle, as some people like,
I just popped my neck. Sorry.
depending on how it is, the pentagram, upright or inverted, is without the circle. A pentacle has the circle.
Now, which one do you have if you're a Supernatural fan?
The one I got, asshole. What people would call it is a pentagram, but it's actually technically an inverted pentacle with the Baphomet in it, which actually symbolizes, for those who actually care to educate yourself, each point of the pinnacle symbolizes basically the different, right now I can't really think because I'm high, but each one symbolizes like parts of the earth or parts of you or whatever. And then the middle is the human form. It symbolizes us as humans pretty much. And depending on where you face it, if the point is facing up, that means you put your spirit before your human form. If you put the points up, you put the earth and your human form above your spirit.
Yes. And honestly, it's just like people thinking an upside down cross is demonic, when in actuality, it's a sign for St. Peter, because he was crucified upside down.
Did you know that actually, now they've adopted this. It's actually used to be the brimstone cross. But did you know there's actually a cross that the Satanists actually do use?
Yes, I have seen the Leviathan cross, if that's the one you're talking about,
Yes.
on very many people.
I have it. I have a necklace of it. It's not evil. What it actually means is the two arrows on the side means we all have our own paths. We are equal. The infinity sign means that life is never ending. It's literally just symbolism, but people deem it evil because they want to.
Yeah, because it's something it's the same thing that happened with Native Americans. The same thing that happened with Africans. It's all people different. What's it saying?
It means slayer. Sorry.
No, you're good. I was trying to read that.
To add to what you're saying, sorry to interrupt, but to add to what you're saying with the natives and shit, I don't know if you know this or not, but when Christianity or whatever religion became the main religion, anything before it was now deemed evil and pagan.
Pagan, yes. Evil, I don't think so.
Well, that's how
I get what you're saying.
That's how they viewed it. Like King James viewed them as evil. That's where all these holidays came from, because they were taken from pagan holidays. And and the church actually did steal a lot of pagan symbols. Like the pentagram was used for Christian churches for a while, and then they got rid of it because they claimed it was the injuries of Christ during his crucifixion. And I'm like, don't steal symbols and that's what happened with Hitler.
He took a Buddhist symbol. Well, it was a Buddhist symbol.
His symbol was from Judaism, actually. Not to correct you.
I thought the swastika was from Buddhist belief.
It is, but there's multiple belief systems that use the swastika. I believe.
I didn't know that.
I believe the particular one he had might have been Judaism. I might be mistaken. The Buddhists was reversed from Hitler's. The Judaism one was the way that Hitler's was, but not tilted.
See, all I know is the people I've met with the Buddhist symbol have told me that I've been accused of horrible shit because they think it's a swastika.
Yeah.
And that's not the case. And actually, from what I've researched and what I know, the Buddhist symbol is straight. It's straight up and down, got the deals, and it's got certain dots in certain spots.
Yeah. Middles of
right. And again, if it's from Judaism, and I'm not aware of this, I apologize. This is just from the information I know, that Hitler took that symbol from Buddhism and modified it with the tilt, added the color scheme of the red and white, and made it into the ultimate symbol of hate that we all love today. Fuck you if you're a hater.
You know what drives me nuts, though, is like, the fact is, it is Buddhist. I might be mistaken about it being an old Jewish symbol. It was a Hindu symbol, Buddhist symbol, whatever. But
Hindu.
the thing is Hitler took it, made it a symbol of hate, which means he succeeded at his agenda even 100 years later.
And that's another reason why I believe, like, history, everybody's like, oh, certain things in history class shouldn't be taught. No, teach it all. I don't care how stupid it makes your country look. I don't care how stupid it made our ancestors look. Learn from the mistakes of the past so we are not doomed to repeat them.
And
you know why there's warning labels on everything? Because some motherfucker accidentally shocked himself to death.
And also, let's quit looking at symbols and thinking they're evil without actually talking to the person and wondering what it means to them.
Thank you.
Symbolism is only symbolism because we make it that symbolism. Try to understand. I knew a guy one time that had a swastika on them, and a lot of people thought, oh, you're racist. No, he was fucking Buddhist.
Yeah. Like the one I heard that's like, you can't go like this anymore. You can't tell people, okay, because apparently that's a racist sign.
The thing is, it's only racist if you let it be racist.
That's what I mean.
Evil if you let it be evil.
Now, I'm cool with this because we all know what that means.
No,
I'm just going to hold it here.
Since we're talking about Buddhism, this is a good point. We talked earlier about the Satanic Temple and how Florida claims it's not a religion. Now, the reason why the governor of Florida thinks it's not is because they don't worship a deity. The founder of the Satanic Temple came forward and said, all right, so you get to deem what's a religion and not based on your own opinions of what a belief is. However, who's to say you're not going to come out and say Buddhism's not a religion because they don't worship a deity? Who's to say you're not going to come forward and say Judaism's not a religion because it's not your deity? Who's to say that you're going to come
Native Americans?
Yeah, Native Americans, which is a form of paganism now is what they would consider it. But
yeah, but in all honesty, they believe in nature, in that nature provides, in that the natural order of life. Basically, is more what they believe.
Ain't it?
Similar. Wiccans believe more in the potionary, I believe. Again, I'm only going by the little bit of knowledge I know. So if I offend anybody, sorry.
You're not offending. You're trying to be educated, and I'm going to actually help you because I do have friends that are Wiccan.
See, and I have friends who are Wiccan too. I just never went that far and said, hey, all right, teach me some shit. They've told me shit, and I'm like, oh, that's interesting, but I've never had that inkling to really dig any deeper because your belief's your belief, and I'm not going to, what I mean, cause issues.
I am going to correct you. Not all Wiccans practice magic.
Yeah, I know that.
So they are similar to natives in a way, those particular Wiccans.
I would say to qualify as a Native American, you would have to be of ancestry of America, not just, hey, dude on a boat showed up and now 6 generations later. No, it's somebody who can trace themselves as here's Native. With their practices, it is much of like, hey, nature provides.
Yeah,
nature
that's what
teaches.
I meant they're similar. I'm not saying that you can identify as Native. I'm just saying Wiccans are similar belief system as that. As the natives, because I have a friend that is Native, and she's very into the Native.
Okay, I won't lie. I have heard of a sweat lodge being a heavily spiritual thing, like something very spiritual, and I would love to experience that at least once. Now, again, I'll never be like, hey, no. If I am invited and everybody's cool with it and I'm not stepping on anybody's toes, as long as I can be as respectful as possible. But it is an experience I wouldn't mind trying.
What I would like to try, and I believe you can do this in Arizona. I could be mistaken. It might be New Mexico, but you can go to a Native American tribe and you can actually sign up for a spiritual journey, and they take you on a spiritual journey while you're on peyote.
See, certain things like that scare me a little bit because I've heard people ask and mushroom, anything that takes me out of my head or my reality makes me afraid because I'm always afraid. What am I doing while I'm not here? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, the thing with peyote, they say, is it makes you confront your demons.
Oh, joy. I do that every morning.
Basically, things you've been ignoring but not realizing you're ignoring, it makes you face them. I could be mistaken, but that's what my understanding is of it. Now, I don't know. I guess my point is like quit fucking judging people that don't believe like you do.
Yeah.
Unless it's politically and it controls other people. Because there's some people I don't fuck with because like they want to control people through politics. They want to prevent gay people and all that from doing shit. And like, I don't know, God bless and hail Satan, I guess.
Don't judge a person by their lovable hole.
Yeah, like, I don't know. And don't judge symbols because you don't know what it means to that person.
You can have those symbols. Anybody wants to judge symbols can have those symbols right there.
But like, I just love one another, dude. Like, my mom is very religious, and she's never once judged me based on and I've never went through with her my beliefs, but she knows that I'm not of the same faith as her, and she don't judge me for it.
The greatest thing, one of the greatest things my dad ever did for me as a child, and he made this perfectly clear to everybody. I have never forced, and from my dad, I have never forced him and his brother to do anything they've never wanted to do. Anything, whether it was church, whether it was wrestling, whatever it was we were interested in, he supported us 100%. He never was like, you have to do this because of this. He's like, no, if they want to have a relationship with God, go to church. So that's them. If they want to pursue their crazy, wild little dream of being a professional wrestler, let them do it. What's the fucking problem? And that's what I call fucking support.
As long as you're happy and you're doing what you love and not hurting anybody. Well, wrestling you are, but like as long as you're not. But here's a point that I brought up recently, and I got hate for it, but whatever. See if you agree with me. Certain people hate on Wiccans or they hate on this or that because they do spells or magic, right? Isn't that what prayer is technically? You're trying to manipulate the universe?
Isn't that what science is technically?
Yeah, it is, but also prayer is considered a form of magic. It's white magic. It's you're asking the universe or your God or whatever for something that you want.
What proper prayer should be is not asking for anything. And again, this is my belief. Proper prayer is you having a relationship with God, deity, whatever it is you believe in. That is your time to go, hey, here's what's going on in my life. And thank you for everything good in my life. And I hope that you can lead me from the bad. And if I do get in the bad, let me learn from what I'm going through. But it's never an ask, in my opinion. Or it shouldn't be.
Internal, though? That's something happening within you?
Not exactly, because, again, depending on your beliefs and how you pray and, all this stuff personally.
Too.
Right. Personally, being the way I believe, I've always been the thought of what happens. It's happening for a reason.
Yeah.
Like I was born with this disability, but yet I can still get in the ring. I can still wrestle. I can still pursue somewhat of a normal life. So there has to be, my suffering has to be for a reason. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So never once do I think I'm cursed, but I would like to, I'm constantly am like, keep in mind what this reasoning is.
And also, like, when it comes to evil and good and shit, like a lot of it, like there are some things that are like inhabitably bad, like, people that harm children and all that shit. Like, obviously that's bad, but there's also some things that are just opinion, just perceptive evil.
Yeah.
Because I read, as I said, I was reading that book and the guy said, I don't necessarily believe in the supernatural, but when people perform magic, a lot of people are like, oh, they're doing black magic or white magic, when in reality, in their visions, there's no such thing as black or white magic. It's just magic.
To be honest with you, like, this is going to sound weird. Again, speaking more of my beliefs, like everyone, the translation of devil means adversary, the adversary.
That's why people use it as a symbol, because they're adversary to the government.
Now, again, the reason why he is an adversary, in my personal deal, is it's a lot like having a jealous older brother who is like, hey, and again, this is from my own readings and research, and highest of the angels, adorned with jewels, praised by many as the most beautiful of God's creation. Now all of a sudden, here's man, and God told everyone that of the heavenly host, treat them as you would treat me. And he's like, excuse me, we're angels. We're above them. You're God. I'm not going to treat anybody like I treat you. And it became a jealous brother kind of thing, to the point where he was like, fuck it. If this is how you're going to be, you've gotten weak. And then all kinds of shit broke out. And a lot of it, I believe, stems from that bitterness and jealousy of like,
My thing
you
is,
know what I'm saying?
my belief
The
is,
whole thing with devil. Yeah.
my belief is if it is all true, right? If
Watch, we're all going to die. It's a giant cat.
I'm not picking sides. It's not my battle. I'm gonna be happily mutual. And the thing is we are literally taking journal entries from people and figuring out where we fall in the belief of that or in whatever. And
not to mention, through the generations of lost through translation, how things have changed through the.
And also the scrolls that King James destroyed or didn't want in the Bible, because he used it as a form to control people to not be pagans.
That's what I mean. It's like so much has happened and has been lost through history and has been changed through history. Who knows what the exact details of everything is?
Have you read the Lost Book of John?
I have not. I've heard of the Book of Enoch, which is another book that claimed to be removed from the Bible because of what it teaches.
Yep.
And I've heard of lost books of the disciples, and like I believe there's people saying there's a lost book of Judah Judas.
In the Lost Book of John, it is revealed that Jesus was the serpent in the Garden of Eden. It was not Lucifer, which is interesting in my opinion. Now,
actually, nowhere does it say in the Bible really that it was Lucifer, but it was a tempter. That was the idea.
So, like, and also lost in translation. Nobody knows what's true or not. Who knows? They could all be hallucinating and just made this shit up. We don't know.
Dude, there's a hot naked chick over there talking to a snake. I can see what you mean there. Like,
yeah, and then this guy claims that he's talking to God. Like, if that happened nowadays, like, not trying to be offensive, but if that happened nowadays, you wouldn't fucking believe that guy. He'd be like, oh, he's just off in the fucking space.
Off in Lululand, yeah.
Yeah, like, I like reading it as a form of entertainment. It's a great form. I'm not saying these people didn't exist, but I'm not also going to say that the story is 100% true.
I will say with my belief in the Bible is that there's truth in these stories. Do we have 100% like down to the exact detail? Absolutely not. But we do it. There are truths to them.
And also, who's to say that your religion's right or this person's right or this person's right? I think there's truth in all of them.
Yeah. And again, I live by the. Go ahead.
And also the reason why I say as above, so below, and I have the Baphomet and shit is because what you believe in and where you think you're going to go, you're going to go. I think every person has their own version of heaven and hell. What is one person's heaven is another person's hell. Literally, just live your life the way that you feel best, believe what you want to believe, and you're just going to go there. Like
it makes it perfectly clear in the Bible that my journey is not your journey.
No.
My experiences are not your experience. It is not my job to bring anyone to God or make anyone have a relationship with God or their belief. That is their journey.
Exactly. And also, like,
and where their journey leads is where their journey leads. I am not one to judge no one, for I am not above anyone.
No. Like, I guess by today's standards, and it's not that I identify as this, it's what society identifies me as. I guess society would identify me as a Satanist because I don't believe in their God and I don't worship their God.
I don't even know if I can put a label on my beliefs because, yes, I do have beliefs in Christ's teachings. But when it comes to physical churches and religious ceremonies and certain beliefs in that, it's like, no. I'm simple, very, very simple.
I'm an agnostic, but I also have a belief if it's true, if that makes any sense. Like I refuse to live my life on Earth just because reality speaking, let's say you follow 100% what the book says, you live your life by it, you die. What happens if your religion wasn't the right one?
You listen to South Park. The Mormons had the right religion. It was the Mormons.
It's always the fucking Mormons. See, if your religion makes you go door to door knocking and begging people to join your, like, that ain't the right one. Plus, I never understood why Jehovah's Witnesses did that shit. Ain't there like only 100,000 of them fuckers going to heaven? Like,
honestly, Jehovah's Witness and all that. When I was younger, I used to believe. I had in my belief, like, oh, you're someone believes by the Bible, you're Christian. That's the. Not realizing there's all these different freaking branches and all these different freaking types and all these different kitty, all these different methods, and
bro,
it's like, yeah.
you know what's sad?
Other than my cat walking in front of my camera.
4 years, the Catholic Church, this is documented, the Catholic Church has been saying pagans, Satanists, which they all deem them all the same people. I don't know why, but they're like, pagans and Satanists are hurting kids and killing cats and blah, 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 blah. And then they all came forward and was like, but you're actually hurting kids. We're not, but you are actually harming
We have
children.
evidence, yes. we have evidence of bad things happening, but yet you'll accuse us of the same thing.
And they
they
send the preacher to different. They send that preacher to different churches. They don't get rid of him. They find out he does it. Send him to different churches.
My cat tried to ruin the podcast. I apologize, everyone.
But when it comes to Catholics, like, I'm not picking on all of them, but I'm saying, and it's been proven that Catholic preachers will be caught messing with kids and be taken to different churches, still able to preach. And then by the time, this ain't been proven, this is just part of the joke, but by the time they make it to every single Catholic church in the United States, then they become the Pope. That's why the Pope's 80 years. He's the final.
Honestly, it's the same thing you hear about certain politicians. They're like, gay is evil, gay is evil, gay is evil. They're in a men's bathroom.
Yeah, like,
you know.
The thing is, they don't realize is they always ask, where's our pride? Where's our pride? You do realize pride is a very evil thing according to that book.
Which I disagree. Which I feel is a mistranslation.
I do too.
I feel pride in oneself and one's doing is not a bad thing. Pride in accomplishments that are not yours, or pride that you hold over people's heads, like, look at what I've done. That is where the problem lies.
And also,
pride, like, yeah.
Also greed. I've never understood these televangelists that are like multimillionaires not paying taxes, but they're preaching the good word. Motherfucker, you are the most satanic being on earth.
You are the greediest motherfuckers. And I've mentioned this before. They have proven that it would only take about $4 billion to solve the homeless problem in this country. Most movies make $30 billion. I'm not
trying to like say you are. I'm just saying that you would agree with this logic. The Church of Satan released the book, The Satanic Bible, and they actually mentioned in there that one of their biggest things is all churches should be taxed, because if every church is taxed, our debt would be gone.
Agreed, because there's millions of dollars every year spent. No, okay, so I won't throw anybody's names under the bus or anybody's, but I've heard of people who would steal money from their families to provide for churches. Now that ain't right.
That ain't right at all.
No, their tax refund would come in. Oh, we only got so much. Figure out they spent most of it on a new van for the church without telling their significant other or their family. And it's like, no offense to the church, but last I checked, their power's still on. Their lights are still on. Our bills are due like 2 weeks ago.
Hey, I'm not trying to be an asshole, but all offense to the church, because you know how many times the church has said Satanists are evil and pagans are evil and spreading misinformation and slander.
All right, let me correct myself. Fuck the Catholic Church. If you are a denomination that is just like, hey, teaches love, peace, good for you. I hope you do well. To all those greedy motherfuckers who are the majority, who are taking money out of people's pockets who need them, fuck you.
And forcing your religion into politics and schools and calling people that don't believe in what you believe in evil.
right there for them. Yep.
The satanic panic happened in the fucking 70s and 80s, and people actually died because people were like, "Oh, you're evil." They burnt down fucking buildings because they
With children in them.
Yes, and recently, 2014, the Satanic Church in fucking New York got burnt by a Christian extremist. Well, the owner was inside.
That's what I mean. Like, freaking, it says it right there in the book, thou shalt not kill. What do you think you're fucking doing? It doesn't say thou shalt not kill unless they believe differently. No, it means do not do it, you dipshit.
Well, the reoccurring theme is people are like, I've never read into it, but I've done my research. I'm like, then you don't understand what they actually believe in or what their teachings are.
Right there, that sentence contradicts itself. Because how can you claim to do your own research but not read shit?
Well,
there.
They were saying that, like, and I'm not calling out one person because there's been multiple to come at me. And I still love all of them. I just don't understand. They told a lot of the defenses was as well. Anton LaVey, he worshiped the devil, blah, 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 blah. You've not read the book. He literally says in the book that he does not believe in the paranormal. He does not believe in any of this, the supernatural. He doesn't believe in it. However, yes, he did perform magic, but it wasn't dark magic. He was just pagan. Now, he didn't practice that when he formed the church. He didn't believe in that shit anymore, but he still talked about it because he wanted people to understand where that history of it came from.
Yeah.
You can preach something and not quite believe in it.
It's weird that you say that because me and my wife just watched an episode of Little House on the Prairie. I know. And there was a woman on there who was using the Bible to pretty much enforce her way of living. People have to live a certain way and she's teaching the 10 Commandments. Well, one of them calls her out on it and she misquotes. And she said and they go, can you even read that book? Yep. She goes, and she couldn't. She literally was just spouting off bullshit that she had been taught her whole life. So to anybody, if you're going to say, well, you better actually have done some fucking research.
Yeah. And the thing is, what I find funny is people come at me and don't realize that I've actually read.
Hey, I know how to read, motherfuckers.
And what else is weird to me is like, why can't we question? What is wrong with questioning our own beliefs and our own shit? That is healthy as an adult.
It's healthy as a person, just in generally go, why, how, and what can we do better?
Why do I believe this way? If I can't discuss why I believe this way and it makes me uncomfortable, then I should probably keep listening. Because
exactly.
The reason why I'm uncomfortable because I believed this way for so long. And the thing is like, I don't know, like, did you hear about, you're going to laugh at this, by the way, even as a religious person, you're going to laugh. Have you heard of the Westboro Baptist Church?
Yes, fuck them.
Mm-hmm. Did you hear what the Satanic Temple did to them?
Ooh, okay, story time.
Lucian Graves of the Satanic Temple found out that the Westboro Baptist Church was going to boycott the Boston Massacre. They were doing a memorial for them and they were going to boycott. Well, in a counter boycott, the Westboro Baptist Church heard that the Satanic Temple was going to be there and they didn't show up. So the Satanic Temple went to the gravesite of Fred Phelps's mother and performed a pink mass, which means that they have just hexed her grave. So anytime a gay couple kisses over it, she finds great satisfaction because now she is gay in the afterlife. That is fucking brilliant. And they interviewed Lucian and they're like, aren't you guys atheists? He's like, yes, but it brings me great satisfaction that now they believe that his mother is gay in the afterworld.
For now on, your mother will enjoy Taco Tuesday.
And it was fucking great. He ended the ceremony by putting his balls on her tomb, on her head.
That's fucked up.
You know what's funny? He got arrested and they couldn't find out what to try him with. The news headline says Satanic cult turns Fred Phelps' mom gay.
Yes. Oh, fuck.
This is fucking ridiculous. He's like, I did it as a joke, and it's on every news headline.
Oh, shit.
But them guys, I have to say, look them up, dude. They're doing what is best because they don't want to push their agenda on people. What they want is they want equality. So what they do is they're doing what no other religion is doing. They're making them put up their own monuments unless they take theirs down.
Yep, I've been seeing that.
And you might not agree with it, but if you look at what their symbolism is, it is amazing because they believe that you should put science before faith.
I believe science is the human way of understanding the way that the world has been created and functions.
Yes.
Look, okay, we don't know all right, from a religious standpoint, God created everything. Okay, fine. Then me being able to see a microbe and all are the pieces that was used to create what is real. What is there blasphemy about that? Absolutely nothing.
I've never understood Mormons. Let's go back to them because they're fun to make fun of.
Fuck them. Fuck Mormon. Fuck.
Did you know
the Mormons don't fuck, by the way.
In the words of Jimmy Carr, I only make fun of religions that don't bomb shit. No, Mormons are weird because they think God is like they think like he's dumb because they're like, okay, we're gonna just put our tip of our dick in and somebody's gonna bounce on the bed and that's a technicality. Like they think they're finding loopholes in the system.
Well, that's what they thought about butt play too for a long time. But
ever listen to the song Golden? No, it was what was it? Golden Rule is the name of it.
I'm not sure.
It's by.
Sorry if I seem like I'm draining. I'm not feeling well because of everything, but I'm good.
My room is 976 degrees, so we'll be wrapping this up soon. No, it's called Poop Hole Loophole is the other name for it. It's about these two girls. They're supposedly religious. The real people aren't, but they're singing about it. And they're like, I don't want to lose my boyfriend, but we can't have sex because it's a sin.
Oh, I've heard this song, actually. Yeah, I know the song.
And she's like, fuck me in the ass because we love Jesus. It's fucking...
Yeah.
See, I love what is considered blasphemous because I'm a comedian. That is my job.
And what is blasphemous to you may not be blasphemous to them. So who are you to say what's blasphemous?
That's why my job is so fucking hard because I could be canceled at any minute for even the stupidest things.
Right? Oh, geez. Even with wrestling, it's the same thing. You do the slightest thing wrong, and they're like, "Oh, you were going to get in trouble in the worst fucking way."
Ric Flair got in trouble for being Ric Flair. Like, how the fuck does that happen?
The guy's been doing the same shtick for fucking 80 years, and people are now surprised. Fucking hey, do your research. Watch some of his older shit.
When Ric Flair came down to the ring during his last match, I thought it was Joe Biden. I'm like, what the fuck's he doing in the ring?
Remember, everyone, vote Supreme.
We have to vote Supreme because did you hear about Project 2025?
I have, and it is a fucking disgrace.
They want to implement Christianity into like fucking law books and shit. They want to fucking bring God
take away history, take away a majority of our history and don't teach it. Take away a lot of women's health. Mind you, I have daughters. Yep. And you want to take away a lot of women's health care? Fuck you. I ain't fucking voting for that.
Mark my words, and I'm going to get a lot of hate from people, and I don't give a fuck, even though I don't fully agree with everything they say. If Donald Trump wins, I'm joining the Temple of Satan, and I'm fighting with them for equality, for religious freedom. Not because
I'm moving to Canada.
Not because I believe in all that they believe in, but because I believe in religious freedoms, and they're the only ones fighting for equality.
I feel you on that, bro. I feel you.
It is fucking bullshit. We weren't even founded on religion. The first goddamn amendment says separation of church and state. Like, how hard is that to understand? George Washington was an atheist.
All men are created equal. Like, come on.
If you don't like it, get the fuck out of the country, like you've been telling me for years. Not you, but like people.
Right. Well, I was just about to say, I might have told you to leave that one time, but that was just to get me some chips.
Like I hate it whenever I bring up the actual Constitution. People's like, you don't like it, leave the country, and I'm like, separation of church and state. Don't like it, get the fuck out. Like,
If you, how about like those are why are those people like, oh, country? It's like, really, have you read a history book recently? An actual history book, not one that you wrote, but one that you know, actually tells you the shit on how this country's founded and who founded it and why it was founded and why we ended up the way we're. No, when's the last time you looked at third grade? Shut the fuck up, because you don't know what you're talking about.
those same people would be the same people during the slavery days. They're like, you don't like it, get the fuck out.
That's what I mean. It's like,
the fuck?
oh god, the sooner Canada invades and we're taking over, the better.
Dude, you know what? Mark my words, dude. I have a feeling that, and I hate to say this because I'm into conspiracy theories and shit, but mark my words, if Trump wins and that shit goes through, we're going to have a religious war on earth. Because if they're going to try to force that shit on the people, like Judgment Day isn't something that Christians are worried about. It's something that they are starting.
Yeah, and again, as somebody who believes partially in prophecies and stuff like that, I don't keep an eye open for that because anything could become a trigger for it. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I'm talking about. Everybody's like, every other person who gets elected, they're the Antichrist. They're this. I don't get like that. But I will say that I find it hilarious that the people who should be trying their best to prevent the end are the ones fueling it.
Yeah, and the ones that are trying to prevent it are the fucking Satanists.
You're right. It's like, I think we got somehow our team jerseys got mixed up in the wash here, fellas.
Like, what the fuck is going on? Like what is? But the thing is, that drives me nuts, though, is like, I don't know, like, I think we need a complete overhaul of our government. We need age limits. We need age limits. Like,
yes. Term limits, age limits.
Why do we have two fucking presidents wearing diapers with fucking Alzheimer's talking about how good they are at golf while we can't afford a fucking loaf of bread? Like,
yeah. What? That's what I mean. Personally, the law is 35. That is when you are allowed to run for any kind of political office. I believe by 65, you should be forced to, you can no longer pursue political aspirations at 65 years old.
Can I take it one step further?
Shoot.
Since you are a government official, you should have at least one political degree. So you know what the fuck you're doing.
Agreed. I also believe that with the way the internet is now, the way things are now, the majority representation, it should be a lot easier than some old fucker taking my tax money to drive all the way to Washington just to sit there and get nothing done.
Did you hear about what Trump said about Project 2025?
I've heard a lot of things about it. None of it I like yet. So
he's claiming that he had no idea about it and he thinks it's horseshit. I'm like, dude, you also didn't know Epstein until you knew Epstein. You also didn't.
Right. You knew him until something happened. Then you didn't know him. Even though we have pictures of you with him, we have people you talking about how great of a guy he is.
Maxwell,
no, you don't know him at all.
Maxwell got arrested. He's like, I wish her well. She was my neighbor. We were good friends. Like, now you know them. Now that she got arrested, might rat you out, motherfucker.
See, New Jack, it's funny we mentioned New Jack just to bring a little bit of wrestling. New Jack said a story about Kevin Nash, like talking all this shit on him. All this. Well, he runs into Kevin Nash at a contract signing. And he's like, hey, New Jack, my buddy, what's up, man? He's like, actually, I don't think we've ever met. And you're calling me buddy. We've never met, bro.
What did he say?
He's like, oh, you sure? Oh, yeah, I guess not. It's like, that's what I mean. People like that, I don't get it. It's like you're going to sit there, tell bold-faced lies, and then completely forget what the fuck you lied about.
Did you hear that very enlightening story that DDP told recently?
No, shoot.
He was like, so me and Ric Flair have always had, like, we would respect each other to our faces, but we said a lot of fucked up shit about each other throughout time. We didn't like each other. And
by the way, fuck you, Tyler Grayson. Go ahead.
Well, he was like, Ric Flair was being inducted in the Hall of Fame. And he's like, I took him to the side. I'm like, listen, Rick, I know we've had our problems. We've said shit. And Rick's like, oh, don't worry about it. He's like, I'm not worrying about it. I want to fucking fix it. He's like, I respect you as a wrestler. You're a fucking all-time great. And I don't want you to see me that way. And I don't want to see you that way. And he's like, Ric Flair grabbed me and kissed me and hugged me and said I was hoping that we would eventually patch things up.
Life's too short to hold on to stupid shit, brother.
And plus, let's give it a fucking round of applause to fucking DDP. He started his wrestling career when he should have retired.
35.
He started at retirement age. And they told him he'd never be champion, and he was 3-time WCW champion. Was it 3 times?
And actually, I believe it was 3-time. And actually, he blew his back out before becoming champion, developed DDP yoga, and now that's how he makes his living. So wrestling, not only did he get to live his dream, but wrestling provided him what he ended up using to save so many other lives.
I got to give WWE credit, but I also got to shoot him down real quick. WWE had a great idea because I never thought that DDP versus The Undertaker would have been a dream match. But then
it could have been better.
But then the storyline sucked. DDP was just a jobber to The Undertaker. It wasn't even.
I don't like using inside terms like that too often, but you're right.
You took a guy who had so much potential. He even had fucking people popped when he took that fucking that mask off. People wanted DDP,
Mm-hmm.
and then
I was one of them.
They fucking shit on him, and then they made him a motivational speaker.
And now look what he does for real.
True, but like that was weird. He was like, and you know what they should have done? All right, let's paint the picture before we go. Okay. Hulk Hogan versus Randy Orton at SummerSlam. Let's pretend Hogan don't have an ego problem. Randy Orton wins by fucking RKO, right? He's doing the legend killer thing. He just killed off Hogan. He's going to Mania. Diamond Dallas Page comes out. WrestleMania, Diamond Dallas Page versus Randy Orton.
I would have liked to seen that.
Cutter versus Cutter. However, have the championship be on the line.
Championship aside, just to see an Orton Diamond Dallas Page feud would have been freaking cool.
Yes, my other one is and I've been saying this for a while. During the whole invasion shit, right? Have people like really hyped up like they was, but it's Royal Rumble, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let's just for the sake of argument. Let's just give the title to The Undertaker, right? American Badass Taker, right? Have Taker be the champion. At the Royal Rumble, who wins? Well, at the very end of the match, everybody's wrestling. Number 30 hits. The lights go out. Lights come on. Everybody's out of the ring. Sting's in the middle of the ring with a belt, with the fucking...
I would freaking have loved to see... And, like, okay, legitimately... The year Taker lost the streak, I thought, I was sitting there with a bunch of friends. I said, watch, what'll happen is he'll beat Lesnar, and then Sting's going to show up on the stage, and they're going to set things up for next year. You just watch. And then the unthinkable happened.
I think what should have happened is they should have just let Taker. I understand the whole Legends thing where you should go on your back, but I think Taker should have been that one exception where he should have just
held that streak. Should have held that streak forever. I agree.
Rode off into the sunset still with the streak.
Or if he was going to lose it, let that truly have been the last time we saw him.
And I think it should have been with Bray Wyatt.
Yes, absolutely yes.
Have him beat Brock, have him beat Roman, and then have him lose to Bray.
Even if, agreed. I completely agree. Like, the Roman thing happened as sort of a mulligan. They're like, well, it didn't really work when we did it with Brock, and so they fed him Wyatt because they wanted to try to reestablish him as a badass, so he beats Wyatt. Because it wouldn't have meant nothing if he would have lost 2 years in a row. Absolutely nothing. So they tried to set him up as another thing for Roman to conquer when they should have just let Brock didn't need it, Roman didn't need it. It would have set Wyatt up. And again, Wyatt now is viewed as like the modern day Taker. May he rest in peace. But it could have happened a lot more sooner and a lot more efficiently if it would have been done the right way.
And you could even set up the return of the Ministry versus the Wyatt family.
That would have been sick. It would have been sick.
Like have the Wyatt family and the fucking, or have Taker lose to Wyatt and have Taker join the Wyatt family as like a manager or something.
Maybe I do know that like from the moment that the Wyatts debuted, because they initially feuded with Kane, you felt that there was something there with Taker, and it was going to be something with Taker, and it kind of did. But I feel like there was a lot of potential there that was never fully come to fruition, should say.
It's sad because like Wyatt and
I'm using big words. Holy shit.
Taker, though, let's be honest, though, the dude kind of aged backwards when it comes to wrestling terms. Because, like in the beginning, he would move really slow and he didn't have a whole lot of moves and he was really scary.
Mm-hmm.
And then that motherfucker, when he turned 50, started jumping over the fucking top rope and
right.
And shit.
Like he even admitted as when he first started the American Badass stuff, he was out of shape and people thought he couldn't go, and he wanted to prove that to them that he was still, game on. He's even said in interviews today he can't go to live shows without it bugging him, because he'll be sitting there like, okay, when do I do my shit? It's like, you don't have shit to do no more.
Right.
He still wants to perform. It's what the mind is capable of, the body cannot compete. And I understand that with the cerebral palsy, being that there's so many things you want to do, but physically you have reached your absolute limit towards it. And you got to recognize that sometimes.
And it's got to be hard when you're like seeing these wrestlers who you would have had great dream matches with. Like, could you imagine Taker versus Damian Priest?
Yeah. And
Like,
a lot of people compare Priest to Taker now. Like, they call him the gay Undertaker, which I don't understand that. But
I thought he was the bisexual Taker.
Yeah, it was bisexual Taker. That was it. Which if he is, so what?
But that's kind of funny, though. Like,
yeah.
Rest in ass or whatever he says. I think it's completely crazy that Billy Gunn never won like a major title.
Yeah. Billy Gunn has gone on interviews recently saying like he's having more fun now in his runs than he ever has been, and he feels like that is what he's always tried to do, is just enjoy himself. It's never been about being the guy. It's been more about just enjoy what you're doing, because once it's done, it's done. I feel like a lot of guys need to be like that.
Before we go, top 5 wrestlers who never won the big one that should have.
Cool. See, Christian doesn't count.
I mean WWF title, WCW title, any of them.
Right. Let me think 2 seconds, because there were a few names a few years ago. This list would have been a lot easier. Because Christian was world heavyweight champion, but did he? But he did win the TNA title. So he's somebody I still feel deserved more of those bigger opportunities.
Mm-hmm.
So does he count?
Did he ever win the WWE World Heavyweight title, or
he won the World's Heavyweight title after Edge retired, and he won the ECW World title. He also won the NWA title and has been Impact Wrestling World Champion.
Technically, he doesn't count, but he's also the most overlooked champion.
Exactly. D'Lo Brown deserved a bigger spot than he got, I think, because D'Lo was pretty good. Rowdy Piper definitely deserved to be world champion and never got it, which I felt was a damn fucking shame. Superstar Billy Graham deserved more than he got, because he's known for having that big one title run, but at the same time after that, what else did he do?
Right.
He should have gotten more, I think. What is that at? 3-4? Where am I at? 3-4?
I think we're at 4.
Okay, so and again, got a little bit of a run with the world title, did win the WWF title for a day, but could you imagine if peak Kane would have been WWF champion for at least a month?
Right. Well, you know what's
it's
weird
like that.
Kane and Taker have the same mystique where they've been champion, but it never meant much.
And it doesn't, right. That's what I mean. Like, I agree with you. It's like, yeah, they were the top champion, but it felt like their aura kind of overshadowed the fact that they were the champion.
So there is one that you failed to mention that I'd put up there. The American Dream, Dusty Rhodes. Well, he did hold the NWA title. He never held the big one in WWE.
That's true. Actually, I don't think Dusty ever won a championship in the Federation.
He never won a title in the WWF because they when he
So
wrestled
he counts.
when he wrestled the first time in WWF, he wrestled, I believe, was it Bruno Sammartino for the WWF title, or who was it?
I think it was Superstar Billy Graham.
Oh, it was.
Him and Billy. That's the one Cody's been talking about a lot. I don't know if there was any before that, but that's the one Cody keeps bringing up.
Yeah, that's the one then. Yeah, he beat Billy Graham by a technicality, but by a count out, but he never actually won the belt.
Yep. Like
Which
he
that's a
had the
dream
physical belt, but
That's a
yeah.
fucking dream match. Now, another one that never won the big one that should have.
Goldust.
Jake Roberts.
Yes. Jake the Snake. Definitely. I would say Goldust too, now that I think about it, because that character was so good.
I don't think that gimmick, though, was that of a world title, but he was a really good Intercontinental champion.
I'm somebody. It's like, hey, let's try something fucking different. Goldust would have been different.
But that would have been cool, though, him as champion. Now, I'm not going to say this guy deserved the big one, but this guy definitely deserved more than what he got. Maven.
Oh, yeah. He definitely deserved more opportunity than he got, but even he's admitted he didn't take it as seriously. Like, if he was in the mindset that he's in now compared to where he was, he said he would have done better. He would have worked harder. He would have tried more.
But I'm not going to say he deserved the big one, so he doesn't count. I will say Chavo.
Chavo deserved more opportunity than he got. He was an ECW world champion under WWE.
Yeah,
but I agree with you.
He was always
Chavo
Eddie's
deserved better.
nephew. He was always Eddie's nephew.
Yeah. And here, like, anytime people talk about Chavo Guerrero, they don't talk about his WCW run. They don't talk about all the stuff he did by himself. A majority of it is all he's, like you said, Eddie's nephew. And he deserves so much better than just to be somebody's tribute act.
Right.
No offense. Like, I love Eddie Guerrero, and I'm happy to see, like, his family wanting to carry his legacy, whatever. But Chavo should have gotten more as Chavo. You know what I'm saying?
Now, an honorable mention is actually a guy. I don't know if he deserves the big
X-Pac.
one. I don't know if he deserves. X-Pac is one of the few men that beat a lot of big names.
He was the measuring stick at one point. If you could have a good match with X-Pac, you were good.
Yeah, like he had
that was the story.
He had a pinfall victory over Razor Ramon at one time, but who else deserves the big one off the top of my head that never really got it? Mick Foley won it a couple times, but it wasn't anything like that.
Yeah, he didn't have any big runs with it, even except his TNA title run was pretty. I liked it, but again, I'm a Foley fan, so. But yeah, there was never a point where it's like he won the title and they really let him give a run with it.
No, who never got enough credit as they deserved until recently is Matt Hardy.
Definitely.
Like, Matt Hardy was amazing. I would say he was as good as Jeff. He just didn't do all the crazy flippy shit that everybody liked.
He didn't stand out as much as Jeff. He could still do everything Jeff did, but until he started doing the broken stuff and started trying to stand out, he just kind of blended in with a lot of other guys.
Exactly.
But you're right. He deserves so much more.
Another one that could have gotten the big one, Mordecai.
Yeah, right? Put all the belts on Mordecai.
Before we go, I keep saying...
This is like the third time he said that, by the way.
I know. I keep saying it. I have this DVD. I believe Mordecai was at this pay-per-view. I could be mistaken. I have one of them that Mordecai was at. I think it might have been Judgment Day.
Hello, my lady. Hello, my honey. Hello, my ragtime gal. Baby, in my heart. Baby, my heart's on fire.
Judgment Day, 2004. I do believe this is, or 2003.
Nice.
2004. Mordecai versus Scotty 2 Hotty.
Nice. Yeah, I remember that.
Also,
I remember that match.
This wouldn't happen nowadays. Well, it might, but back then it was kind of edgy. The WWE Cruiserweight Championship match. Chavo Guerrero versus Jacqueline.
Yep, I remember that too.
If I'm not mistaken, wasn't this the pay-per-view that Eddie lost the championship to JBL?
I thought that was the Great American Bash.
Because they did wrestle each other at Judgment Day.
Yeah, they did. They had a couple different matches, but I think the big one was the Great American. The American Bash might have been the rematch. I don't know. I'd have to look, but I'm too tired and lazy.
Great American Bash was when I think Eddie lost it because it was the Texas Bull Rope match.
Right. I couldn't remember if that was the rematch for the title or if that was the actual match where he lost the title.
Eddie was still champion going into Great American Bash.
So that was when he lost it to JBL, was the Bull Rope match.
Yeah,
okay.
In Norfolk, Virginia, because he lost due to
he damn near bled to death. Let's be honest.
And he lost due to a technicality. Because Eddie hit all three corners instead of JBL. And when he went for the third one, he jumped over JBL and JBL's back hit before Eddie's hand. Now, that doesn't count. That technically shouldn't count because a bullet match is your hand touches the corner.
Yeah, but it's I do know
matter.
I do know legitimately he almost bled to death.
That's what I heard. Oh.
Yeah, he had cut an artery in his forehead, and he almost bled to death. Wrestling.
Whenever we hang out there, dude, we definitely need to watch this together.
Oh, yeah. Which one's that? Yes, absolutely.
Cheating, Death, Stealing Life, the Eddie Guerrero story. This was released about, I want to say, a few months before he passed.
Yeah, which was really surprising.
Like, there's some really good matches on here. There's the Rock and Roll Express. Actually, no, it wasn't the Rock and Roll Express. It was Cactus Jack and Rock and Roll RPMs at AWA Super Clash. I don't remember that.
There was AWA, no one does.
Dean Malenko versus Eddie Guerrero in ECW. Eddie Guerrero
I've seen that one.
Chris Jericho. Like, there's a lot of great matches, but my favorite is like they have like all the backstory behind WrestleMania 20 and even his life story in here.
Yeah. Like I said, definitely we need to get baked and freaking watch some Eddie matches. I'd like that.
I did have, I don't know if I still have it. I think a buddy of mine took it back in the day, but I had the 2003, I think it was, documentary Crossface, the Chris Benoit one.
Yep. I'm sorry, Greatest Wrestling Documentaries kayfabe. I don't care what you say.
That is a great one. They need to bring that fucking company back. You going to be here tomorrow?
Possibly. I'm not going to make any promises because I feel like shit, and I don't want to disappoint anybody by not being on my top game. But as of right now, I believe I should be here.
All right. Well, it was nice chatting with you, brother. Much love, and go ahead and promote yourself real quick.
All right. God damn it, I'm tired. Mon Valley Pro Wrestling, July 24th, the Hidden Hill Event Center in, where are we at? Bel Air, Ohio, right?
Yeah.
Same place we're doing it. Same day, there's going to be bouncy houses and free wrestling. And then once the lights go down, a little bit of stand-up from yours truly. And, which way I'm pointing? This funny fucker right here. So definitely come on out. It's for a good cause, RL Strength and Conditioning. They wonderful people doing wonderful things for their community. Please come, show your support.
Can we
July 24th.
Can we wrestle in the bouncy house?
I hope so.
All right. Well, guys, much love. I'll see you Saturday, and then I'll see you on the 24th. Love you all. And as always, live long, rock hard.